The Knots Company welcomes you back to Focus on Automation, where we explore and celebrate advances that empower manufacturing. Welcome back to Focus on Automation. I'm your host, Todd Youngblood. Thank you to our sponsor, The Knots Company. Their mission is to improve the financial performance of their customers by applying superior knowledge, technology, key services, and business systems to address industrial, automation, robotics, and motion control issues and opportunities. Today, our focus is going to be on what, for me anyway, was one of the most fascinating and I think potentially impactful technologies that's available today, machine vision. And actually, given our guest, I should say autonomous machine vision. He would correct me if I didn't use that adjective. Please welcome Mr. Ofer Nir. He's CEO of Inspekto. Ofer, thanks for joining us. Good to have you.
Good to be here, Todd.
Just to get us kicked off, Ofer, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got to be CEO of Inspekto.
Sure thing. So my background is many years in the field of product management, marketing, and sales, always in the capital equipment industry. Many times in my career, I was in the field of 3D printing or digital printing, which is a fascinating field that is also transforming manufacturing as we know it. Additive manufacturing is a huge thing in the future. And about a year ago, I joined Inspekto to lead the marketing and product activities. And a few months later, I was asked to take the position of the CEO and help lead the company to where we know it's going to be. So this is me in a nutshell.
Terrific. Now, let's shift the focus to Inspekto. Give us the 10,000-foot overview of what the company's all about.
Great. Basically, Inspekto, which was founded in 2017, identified that today inspection, machine vision-based inspection, is a cumbersome technology, is a cumbersome set of solutions that hinders the deployment of such a solution. And our founder, Yonatan Hayat, managed to develop a very unique technology in the domain of AI, a very unique breed of AI technology that basically enable us to introduce the autonomous machine vision domain. And when we say autonomous machine vision domain, what we mean is solutions that are out of the box, ready to deploy on one hand, and on the other, solutions that are extremely easy to deploy, and therefore overcoming the barrier of deploying and using machine vision-based industrial inspection on a mass scale. So I think this is the vision that Inspekto brings to the table, is unprecedented simplicity and immediacy of deploying industrial scale machine vision-based quality inspection.
Okay, I want to come back to this quote out of the box unquote deployment, because I think that's an important issue. But just to put that in better context, talk a little bit about the key markets that you serve.
So our customers are basically, our end users are basically manufacturers, okay, and any scales. Some of them are the big brands, tier one, either automotive or electronic appliances or home appliances, etc. Everybody that manufacture physical parts. It could be also a small scale companies, local manufacturers, what we call SMBs, etc. Anybody that actually produces, have a production line and is interested to make sure that the production line delivers in the expected quality or the quality required by his customers. So those would be our customers.
Okay, and the primary application then is quality control, or does it go beyond that in some cases?
So the vision of the company is to take it beyond, as you rightfully hinted. But the first step is quality control, is the ability to inspect the part that is being produced by the production line and correctly identify if the part is okay or does it have any defect on the part.
Okay. Now I want to come back to the comment you made earlier about out of the box deployment. I'm an old guy, so I remember when the PC was a new thing, and you'd bring one into your house, and all the advertisement would say literally, take it out of the box, plug it in, and go. Well, it wasn't quite that simple. So I'm going to push back on you a little bit, and maybe you can talk through an example that illustrates just how real this out of the box deployment is.
Right. First of all, I relate strongly to the analogy that you made and embrace it, and make the future of Inspecto would be the future of the PC industry at large. Thank you for that, and I'm a big believer in that. And when we say out of the box, and by the way, we coined the term plug and inspect. The plug and inspect experience means that the device is ready. You don't have the solution provider doesn't have to choose what is the right camera or what is the right lighting and what is the right lens and what software to use, etc. The device is ready as is, applicable to a very wide range of inspection needs. We're not saying that we are solving everything with this single electro-optic system, but our technology, our special adaptive vision AI, enable us to use the same electro-optic system, plug, as we said, out of the box, to use it for a very wide range of applications. And this replaces the conventional flow of analyzing the specific use case and then deciding which camera to use, which lighting to use, which lens, which zoom, which software, etc., which is one of the barriers of the deployment, or one of the elements that make machine vision so cumbersome today.
Well, let me go back. It makes sense to me. Take it out of the box, plug it in. Maybe I'm being a little glib, and to have this is the thing that I want to inspect, and so the focal length and distance and all those kinds of things. I can see the machine figuring that out on itself. But how do I teach it what's good and what's not good?
Basically, our technology consists of 3 unique AI engines. And the uniqueness of our technology is that it truly mimics the way the human vision, the human cognitive vision works. So the first engine basically mimics the way our brain controls the eyesight. When there is more light, less light, when we focus on a near object or far away object, etc. So the first AI engine that we have developed can control the electro-optic system, our unique electro-optic system, to make it to fit the specific use case requirement. Okay. The second AI engine, similar to the way that when we look at items, first of all, we understand what we see. What is it that we're looking at? We understand, is it a smartphone? Is it a PC mouse? Is it a pump? Is it an engine? So our second AI engine understands what is it on the image. And then the third AI engine, and the big part of the uniqueness of our technology, now makes a decision, is this part okay or not okay? And similarly to humans, that basically once you show them very few samples of what is okay, you don't have to teach a human what is not okay. You don't have to teach a human to say, hey, this is a scratch. You don't have to teach a human to say, hey, this is broken. Once you show a person several samples of what is okay, then people can then make a decision what is okay and what is not okay. Very similar to this, our third AI engine, the inspection AI, can, based on very few, 20 to 30 okay samples only, with no programming required, with no machine vision expertise, etc., can now create in behind the scene, under the hood, a powerful prediction engine that knows to say the part that I'm looking for, is it okay or is it defective? And this translates to the second part of autonomous machine vision. So the first part being out of the box ready solution. Yep. And the second part being a very easy and simple and low friction deployment process. So you don't need any machine vision expertise. You need only few good, okay samples only. All the requirements that are required from the end user in order to deploy it is dramatically more simple and immediate than other machine vision solutions out there.
Okay, thank you. That clarified a lot. And I want to go back to that, the second component that you talked about, the AI engine that interprets the image. I just want to make sure I understand that. I think the example you used is it knows if it's looking at a PC mouse or an engine. There's a little bit of magic in there in my mind. Just clarify a little bit how that works. That's really interesting.
Yes. So basically, during the setup, the user needs to tell the system, hey, this is my part. Just point his mouth and click and says, this is the part that from now on, I want you to identify. From this point, our AI engine behind the scene learns the unique characteristics of the part. It looks at the shape, it analyzes behind the scene. The user doesn't have to do anything and understand what makes this part or object or assembly or whatever it is that it is looking at, kind of memorize it with the abstraction or tolerance abstraction of an AI engine, the same way that as a human will understand that it's similar, so it's the same, it looks a bit different, but it's the same. And this way, our technology performed this second AI engine, the detection or identification that we are talking about, which then from this point, whenever he sees this part in the image, he would say, wow, I understand that this is the part that I was told to look for.
Got it. You know, I think what I'm doing mentally is I'm trying to make it more complicated than it is. And that's exactly the point you're making, I think, is don't look for the complication because it's not there.
Yeah, 100% right, Todd. I mean, the way you look at it is you look the way human cognitive vision works. You look at it, you understand what you see, and then you say, hey, I understand that this is a pen, something wrong with this pen. So there is a defect on the pen. You first understand that what you're looking for is a pen, is a PC mouse, is a smartphone, and then you say, oh, this is okay, or this is not okay. Very similarly, the way our technology one works. Understand what it is that we're looking for, what we're looking at, and then making the decision, is it an okay or a not okay part?
Okay, let's look at systems integration for a minute. So I get it. You've got these three distinct AI engines so that you can identify, here's the part, here's what good, here's what okay looks like. I understand all that. Now, let's say I find a part that is, oops, that's not okay. I have to integrate that. Now, what do I do next? Okay, I've identified a bad part. It seems to me that there's some systems integration. I've either got to stop the assembly line or I got to have a human come in and pull that part out. Talk a little bit about that piece of the process. What happens after I detect a part that's not good?
Right. So basically our solution, the Inspecto S70, can be inline integrated to the line automation unit, the PLC. And whenever it detects that the part is defected, it will report it back to the PLC for the PLC to take action. Then activate an ejection module or maybe raise a flag, etc. But the way that the flow is that once our product, our solution, the Inspecto S70 predicts or identify a defect, we report it back to the PLC, to the automation unit, the element that controls the line and says, hey, we have detected a defect. Now it's up to you to make the decision of how to take it out. Is it immediately take it downstream, etc.
Okay, and that I get that. So it's really not different than any other quality control setup. I'd follow the exact same process once my Inspecto vision system has seen that. Ofer, I want to make sure that we've talked about all the different aspects of that. You used the word adaptive vision AI, and I want to make sure the adaptive part. Have we talked through everything that implies?
I think I thank you for pointing it out. So when we say adaptive vision AI means that we basically developed a very special type of an AI, a very unique concept of AI technology designed to deliver vision application and to do it in an adaptive manner. And when we say adaptive, we mean the ability to adapt to different scenarios, to different use cases, to different application with the same electro-optic system, with the same product. The same Inspecto S70 can adapt to different application and deliver the performance.
Okay,
so I think we did. So I think that yes,
okay,
we covered most of the elements of what is adaptive vision AI.
Could you talk us through a couple of very specific examples of an implementation and include, the before and after kind of picture, and then what the financial implications were?
So basically, I can share a story about one of a big automotive manufacturer in Europe, a big company that in this specific production line are manufacturing the engines of the car. And one of their requirement was to inspect almost at the final point of the engine assembly. There is a very delicate assembly process that they wanted to verify and make sure that it's assembled correctly. The challenge there was a very, I would say, very limited visibility to where to make the decision from. And the difference between an okay part and a not okay part was very minor, very hard to miss. And basically, when we got there, we said, and I think that this is one of the big uniqueness of our technology, is since it's ready out of the box to deploy, it's very easy to test. And we are saying very straightforward, let's see, let's test and see if we can find, if we can tweak the technology, fine. If not, no harm done. Hey, go and search for maybe other solutions. We're not claiming, to solve any problem out there on the globe. So we said, okay, let's try. And then we installed it. I think it was less than half an hour, because it's mainly hooking it into the production line, because as we said, the system, the Inspecto S7O is ready as it is. And after training or doing this adaptation, this setup that includes showing to the system about 20 to 30 good parts only. 20 to 30 good parts only. From that point, I remember the face of the customer when we started to do the actual inspection, one after the other, saying this is okay, this is okay, and then he injected some defects by intention, right, to see that the system really detects it. So he unplugged this kind of partially disassembled these elements that they were looking for. System says not okay. He says, wow, interesting, wow, let's see again. Put another sample which is okay, system says okay, and then he says, okay, I'll plug it a bit less, unplug it, but even less noticeable. And the system says not okay. So I remember this story as a nice anecdote that we felt, and I was lucky enough to be present there. We felt the immediate impact of what the guy told us that the alternative experience for him was to sit down with the machine visions guy and then to design several days or even a week to define the spec of the required system, and then go through a design and development of defining the lighting and the camera, etc., etc., and then several again very hard days of actual deployment and many good samples and many not okay samples, etc. And all this was replaced in less than an hour. This I think was again one of the epiphany, how do you say it? Epiphany moments for me that, you felt that, hey, this is really gonna change the world.
Did you get a photograph of the guy's face when he was surprised? That would be a great marketing tool, I would think. Yeah, talk through that. I mean, you kind of qualitatively talk through an amount of time savings, but I mean, you literally are telling me that in an hour, you had a complex inspection of an engine that worked. I mean, the implementation was 60 minutes. That kind of freaks my brain out a little bit. Versus what? I mean, the financial implications of that are significant for the implementation alone. So we're talking about 1 hour versus maybe as much as a week or two.
Sometimes even a month or two. Inspection use case varies so much, so it's very hard to point a specific number. But we had cases that the alternative was a 3 months project that we solved in less than a day. Some conventional machine vision projects are 1 week or 2 weeks. Some of them are 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. And all we need, and whenever we succeed, is 1 hour to start working, and then it's mainly the validation, just for the customer to feel confident that it's working. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that we are solving everything. And the big part, the big power or the power of the solution comes from the immediate use case verification. I mean, one of the big hurdles of machine vision today is that the customer knows that it's actually working only after he completes those 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. Only when it's deployed, he says, wow, yes, it's working, or no, it's not working well enough. Now imagine that I can come and deploy something within an hour or two, and then he sees if it works, yes or no. Imagine the heartache that I'm eliminating, the risk that is eliminated with this kind of workflow.
Wow. I mean, it's very clear to me that the implementation phase of this vision system, autonomous vision system, I'll get that right. Clearly, the implementation is vastly simpler and better, actually. Talk a little bit about ongoing. Now I've got it installed, I've got it figured out, and now I'm doing normal production for the next 5 years on this product. What kind of ongoing value am I getting out of the Inspecto system after I've done that implementation phase?
So twofold. Fold number one is a production line is a living entity. It always changes.
Yep.
You know, when mold changes and sub supplier changes and things changes, etc. And basically, one of the key requirements of a robust and useful inspection system or machine vision system is the ability of this system to adapt to the dynamic environment of the production line. So one big element of our technology is that really as a robust technology, very easy, very easy to the user, as we said, requiring no machine vision expertise to adapt the performance of the system if something's changed on the line. If something, you know, varied, if you change the mold, if something dramatically changed, and he needs to kind of adapt the settings of the system. So this is fold number one, I would say. The second element, and again, the uniqueness of our technology, is the fact that the same system can deliver or can support multiple use cases. And in today's competitive environment, we seldom see that a production line produces only one part. A production line today produces this part at that moment. And then when the lot is done, he changes over and produces a different SKU, and then a third, and then a fourth, and a fifth. Right. Imagine that you have one inspection system that can switch for inspecting part A, or then inspecting part B, or inspecting part C by a click of a button, or basically by the command of the PLC. So basically, it's not like a single use case solution. It's one system deploys on the right location on the line. Any part that this line will produce that goes under or in front of our electro-optic system can also be inspected. So the versatility, the agility this provides the manufacturer, the ability to change their production, to adapt to changing environment production and environment condition, or to changing their when their customer needs are changed and they need to change whatever they are producing. Those two-fold versatility is a big benefit of the system.
Got it. Okay, I want to turn toward the future now. You implied earlier that there were applications and perhaps more technology that we're going to go beyond quality control as the application. So what's coming next over the next 3 to 5 years? What can we expect to be coming out of Inspecto?
The vision of Inspecto, once you have an entity that understand an edge device that is very affordable, that understand what it is that it sees, that can deduct a lot of insights. Quality, defect, yes or no, is an insight that our system deducts on whatever it is it's looking for. So whenever you can deploy in a very immediate and easy manner, such entities that can look at the lines, understand what they see, and then deduct a set of insights, you really, for the first time ever, can embrace Industry 4.0. For the first time ever, you can really replicate the production line or the production lines in terms of production of a full plant or a big manufacturer, and understand, transfer whatever is producing into the virtual domain, embrace Industry 4.0, and really then benefit from the production agility that this delivers. So imagine, for example, the big manufacturer, big or small, that today are manufacturing at a specific direction. For them to change course, to readjust, is a very stressful task, and to deliver this change with the right the ability to deliver the quality is almost a very big challenge for them. And with our units deployed around the plant, providing a single unique view of what is happening on the line, whatever it is that's producing, then it basically provides the manufacturer this agility on a strategic level that today cannot be achieved. And when we look at the future, this is where we want to go. We want to provide more and more insights to our customers about what is happening on the line, what is being produced, what is opening that is expected, what are the trends, what are the vectors, what are the defects, etc., etc.
That's some pretty exciting stuff. As I listen to this story, Ofer, it occurs to me that if I'm a plant manager or an ops manager out in a plant or a factory somewhere, I want to get started on this stuff like now so that I'm ready for when some of these future things start coming down the line. So talk a little bit about how do folks learn more about Inspecto products themselves and the applications. How do I, as a plant manager, learn more about what you have to offer and how I can implement it in my environment?
So I think this is one of the main challenges that, being a small company based in Israel, and now we are facing is this awareness, is reach our customers, show them what we can do and evaluate, the value or the benefit for them. And our go-to-market is based with working with designated partners like the Knots a company, which is an amazing partner, and to utilize their expertise and their market reach and their market relationship in order to reach customers and show them what the Inspecto is all about. So we are trying a twofold approach, I would say, going through local partners, as we said, like Knots, as well as creating some market awareness through webinars, our website, marketing materials, brochures, etc. And we try to tie the two together. But what you said is a very significant point. For us, the market awareness, the awareness of our customer about what we can deliver to them is the biggest challenge today, because the technology is there, the product is ready.
Boy, I've got it. And you convinced me about the plug and inspect. I'm a believer now. I have to admit, I was very skeptical at the beginning of our conversation, but the artificial intelligence aspect of what Inspecto's put together is really quite impressive. So good luck. We'll do everything we can to make sure everybody knows about Inspecto, Ofer.
Thank you very much. This is highly appreciated.
That wraps today's episode. Thank you to Ofer Nir, our guest, for sharing your insights. On behalf of our sponsor, the Knots Company, I'm Todd Youngblood, and we'll talk to you again soon.